Hi there, everybody. This is Bill Houston, and you're watching the Bill Houston podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Please donate if you can to the link below, tinyurl.com. Donate to Bill Houston. If you don't do PayPal, my USPS address is P.O. Box 22, Endicott, New York, 13761. Or you can just Google Bill Houston's fracking resume. All of those details, my PayPal and my snail mail address, are all right there. And I really need your support in order to continue doing this work. And I'm under a lot of pressure, which I'm not going to get into right now, but I have a lot of pressures on my life right now, friends. So really could use your support if you appreciate the work that I've done. If you just Google Bill Houston's fracking resume, you can see what I've done in the past 10 years. And I have a pretty long history of doing good public service work. We got this very important NYSEG rate case coming up. They only happen once every 3 years. They're proposing a rate increase for electric rates up to 24%, and for gas rates, I think it was up to 4%. If you want to make a comment, this is your opportunity. If you want to file comments by mail, so here's how you do that. You address the envelope and direct the comments to the Honorable Kathleen H. Burgess, Secretary, Public Service Commission, 3 Empire State Plaza, Albany, New York, 12223. You can call the opinion line, 1-800-335-2120. That's 1-800-335-2120, 24 hours a day. Comments provided through this line are not transcribed, but a summary is provided to the ALJ and the Commission for their consideration. Comments submitted by these alternative means are requested by August 26, 2019, though comments will be accepted throughout these proceedings. Once again, the 2 docket numbers you need to reference are 19E 0378, that's for electric, and also 19G 0379, that's for gas. You can also email comments to secretary@dps.ny.gov. That's secretary@dps.ny.gov.
Trellin Smith, and to be followed by Cindy Westerman.
So I noted on that card, I hope it's okay that I read a statement from...
That's fine.
Sure.
Just indicate the person's name that you're reading.
So the statement I'm reading is from Thomas P. Grace. He's the supervisor of the town of Columbus, located in Shenango County, and he couldn't be here today. He was really sorry he couldn't be here today. He titles this to commissioners. I think he would also be sorry to see there's only one commissioners here, but I'm glad you're here, Commissioner Howard. He writes, "It boggles my mind that Iberdrola, or Avangrid, parent company of NYSEG, is proposing, and you are considering, enlarging the De Ruyter gas pipeline as we face an environmental crisis caused by burning fossil fuels. Instead of addressing the challenges of climate change, an enlarged pipeline would exacerbate them, enticing gas producers to use overbuilt infrastructure paid for by powerless ratepayers. If the current pipeline is unsafe and needs to be replaced, replace it with one of equal capacity. This will ensure current users their supply, save millions of dollars, and not run counter to the state's goal of phasing out fossil fuels in favor of clean energy." On January 18th, 2019, New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo announced that the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority is spending $1.5 billion in solar and wind projects around the state. With these dollars, the state is working to reduce the use of climatically dangerous fuels like natural gas by making healthier energy available and affordable. Led by NYSERDA, the state proposes to build a clean energy future, one with many benefits for rural towns and counties in upstate New York. The town of Columbus, of which I am a supervisor, has a wind law and is working to develop a solar law to do our part to ensure an orderly transition to clean energy resources. Why would the PSC then allow NYSEG to move us in the opposite direction by increasing fossil fuel pipeline capacity? Iberdrola's, or Avangrid's parent company, is headquartered in Bilbao, Spain, in an area recently victimized by excessive heat. For days this summer, the temperatures exceeded 39 degrees Celsius, 102 Fahrenheit. The Spanish government has recently committed to spend $53 billion to reduce ravages of climate change, to burn less natural gas, not more. So why Avangrid, through its NYSEG division, want to increase the ability of New Yorkers to burn a fuel known to exacerbate climate change? To me, it appears that powerful lobbying forces emanating from various industrial development agencies in the region have pushed NYSEG to ask the Public Service Commission to enlarge this pipeline. These pro-fracking, fossil fuel industry supporters have been lobbying increased pipeline capacity for years, since well before NYSEG's current proposal. Don't fall for it. The future of upstate New York's towns depends on abundant clean energy from the sun and wind, produced without threat to water and health. Our open spaces can harvest this natural energy and in the process revive our local economy. Signed, Tom Grace. And I have almost no voice left today, so I will make my own. My name is Trellin Smith. I live in the town of Oxford, New York, also in Shenango County. And for me, the most concerning aspect of this rate case is obviously the expansion of the De Reader pipeline's capacity. It's obviously, as people have said, it's been made abundantly clear that there's no need for an expansion, and to say that we're going to expand this but not use the expanded capacity is not believable. So we have, I work a lot on these climate issues, and the deeper dive I take, climate change and climate collapse isn't 10 years down the road. We're experiencing it right now. And it is just, we are no longer in normal territory. We've experienced major fires and floods and tornadoes. We had a flash flood in Oxford dropped 5 inches in less than an hour and reamed out every stream in the area. This is, it has to be the mandate of every state agency and you as our public advocate governing I'm blanking on the name, but our fuel providers, our energy providers, it has to be your mandate to eliminate the use of fossil fuels. And so it just seems just inconceivable to me that we would allow the expansion of a pipeline at this time when actually what we need to do is shut it down. It's an 8-inch pipeline. An 8 and 10-inch pipeline. It should remain an 8 and 10-inch pipeline in the ground for as long as it lasts, and the goal should be to shut it down within 10 years, period. We just can't do this anymore. So I urge you to reject this rate case, this proposal, and this rate case as proposed. With all my heart. I think the lives of the children in this room depend on your decision, and I just urge you not to take that lightly, because their lives will be severely impacted by every decision we make going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Cindy Westerman, to be followed by Val D Reader.
My name is Cindy Westerman. I'm a resident of the town of Vestal. I have been an advocate against global warming, as it used to be called, and climate change, as it's now called, for well over 30 years. I've had solar panels on my house now for almost 20 years. I do appreciate your giving us a chance to talk, and I'm not going to go on very long because I really don't have anything new to say that hasn't been said. But I do think this is one of the first hearings under the new Climate Leadership and Protection Act, and I think it's very important that you take a look at that act and realize what it's saying about us here in New York. And the most important thing is that we are supposed to be phasing out fossil fuels and not increasing them. The guy from NYSEG got up and said there's going to be no additional fossil fuels. We're not helping any new additional fossil fuels. But I really don't believe him now that I've heard so many people talk. I'm very suspicious of what he said. I mean, this pipeline thing, which I have to confess I didn't know much about until I came here tonight, sounds like the totally wrong direction to go. So I hope you're looking at this and realize that it isn't even just keeping things as they are. They have to try to phase out the use of that, and definitely help get more access to renewables. And I do know a little bit about the solar farms because I have a lot of friends who have been trying to get into them and things like that. It's been, I definitely think that you have to do that. NYSEG has to do something to increase the access and the ability for people to get on those things and not have to wait very long. I do have the solar panels myself, which has helped me a lot. And actually, I have had 2 different sets of solar panels, because you can see I can really committed to what I'm saying. There also, I agree, there need to be more charging stations for a car. I'm not going to get an electric car. I'm too old. I'm not going to buy another car. You can buy a used car. But if I were younger, I would definitely get an electric car. And I know there are not enough charging stations now, and it doesn't seem like there are enough planned with what NYSEG is planning on. 2 other things I just will mention. Mrs. Wiley spoke about the heat pumps and using gas infrastructure, which is no longer needed for electric lines, and that would be great. I think it's terrible that we cut down so much vegetation and put so much pesticides on them just to keep the electrical lines clear. Any unused capacity with phasing out of gas should be used for trying to put electric lines underground. And one more thing is, I don't approve of closing as many offices as you're planning on closing. As I speak as an older person, we all don't like to use the internet for everything, and it's very nice. You really want to go and talk to somebody when you have a problem and see somebody personally. So I think that's a bad idea too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Val D Reader, and to be followed by Kathleen ODonnell.
My name is Val D Reader. I'm a retired engineer. I studied chemical engineering. I worked in the electrical industry. Well, not really directly, but General Electric, I should say. And I'm a member of the Sierra Club. I'm on their executive committee, but I'm not speaking directly for them. I'm speaking on behalf of my wife, as well as humanity in general, because this is a crisis. And what struck me with this meeting is that the general public is now so busy. Most people that have families that takes 2 incomes to generate enough money to put food on the table, pay their bills, of which utilities are obviously a big part of. And to send 3 people here that can't answer basic questions, to me is a travesty, because I spent my entire career answering questions, writing reports, giving detailed answers when something goes wrong, being ready to face the customers to make them feel happy that they are buying a product from us. Now, I'm standing before you. You are supposed to be advocating on my behalf and on behalf of the people here that are customers of NYSEG, as well as the people that aren't directly customers, but that are children that don't have a voice, or people that are too busy to even notice that there's a hearing here. To make it so difficult to understand what this hearing is about, or even to know about it, I read the 24 pages that was the letter that they sent to you, to the Public Service Commission. Most of it was regurgitated in this presentation they gave, which provided almost no extra details. Basically, they're just saying that they're going to do more tree trimming, put up smart meters, and increase the size of a pipeline, which is plain ridiculous. My former workplace was demolished. It's now grass and geese feeding on the grass. It was an Air Force plant built in World War II. And many people lost their homes due to 2 major flood events. One of them was a 100-year flood event, and another one was a 500-year flood event right here in Binghamton and Broome County. So we don't have 10 years. If you look at the scientists that are really paying attention to this, we don't have 10 years. We need to do this quickly, and I don't see coordination going on between the Public Service Commission and between NYSEG and between the people that just signed the law, which is the people that represent us in New York State. I'm wearing a shirt. I protested in Albany. Many other people did too, to get this law passed. This was like pulling teeth. Now we got a law passed, and I don't see any sense that there's any coordination here to move towards the goals of this law. Yes, this is a supply delivery charge we're talking about, but we need to prepare this infrastructure. The ability of the infrastructure to carry electricity needs to improve. Has to be more distributed. I don't see any details on that really going on, or a sense of a plan. And as other people echoed before this, we need that plan to decommission our existing fossil fuel infrastructure. We need to move away from fossil fuels. And the other thing too is this non-pipe alternative stuff. One thing we need to avoid is transporting of natural gas by truck. That is a dangerous, relatively new thing that is poorly regulated, if at all. It only exists because of an exemption to existing laws, and hardly anybody's even aware of it. So we need to focus on incentives to move to heat pumps for efficiency, insulation, and the question I even asked, which was an obvious question about the smart meters, wasn't answered. We've got an opportunity that's going to be building, that's going to happen because customers want to buy electric vehicles because they know it's the right thing to do. NYSEG needs to be ready to use this resource as electric storage, and they need to incentivize that. Not just the purchase of these electric cars, not just providing chargers, but to use that resource for electric storage to back up the grid and to enable the further increase in renewable energy, which tends to be intermittent because the sun's not out at night and wind sometimes doesn't blow. So we need to have more storage. NYSEG didn't even answer my question about how much electricity storage they're talking about putting on. 10 megawatts is nothing. We need to be in the gigawatt range for storage. So the plans for this need to start right now. We've got the law to back it up. I'm asking you're supposed to be advocating on my behalf, the customer's behalf, to please push this, coordinate with the people that wrote the law and people like New York Renews and other advocates that are out there that understand this and work on this day in, day out. So, and yes, I echo also, I did buy solar panels. It took forever for NYSEG. It was almost a half a year for them to hook it up once the community shared solar farm was built. So this is not an isolated case. This is happening time and time again. The other thing too is the credits, again, I'm going to echo what somebody else said too. The credits, we were basically told that NYSEG didn't have enough staff to calculate the credits. I think NYSEG has computers these days. They have software engineers. They can program computers to do this automatically. This is not rocket science to do. Rocket sciences haven't even been solved. So this is not undoable. And the other thing, lastly, if they're asking for a 24% rate increase, that's about a 12% rate increase because overall on customers' bills, because that's what's based on what people use. That's a big increase, and we only get to speak in one of these rate cases about every 3 years. They should be much better prepared for that, and they should earn that by showing that they're actually going to support the goals of Climate Protection Act. I'm sorry, I'm not getting that correctly, but you know what I mean. The goals of the law that was just passed, the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act. They need to earn it. So, and also, please consider reducing the fixed charge to $6, which is comparable to neighboring utility districts. I think I've got all of them. Let me just scan here quickly. And also income-based programming and incentives for energy efficiency, heat pump technology, so that everyone in our community can afford these technologies. There are many people that are poor but want to do the right thing, and people that are renters, it's very difficult for them. And this type of information about this session and what NYSEG is asking for, that should be readily available. It shouldn't be that I have to go look through a website that has a whole bunch of testimony things with not labeled very accurately, and then poke all those out and then read through pages and pages to try to figure out what's going on. I mean, for people to figure out what's going on here, it's really difficult. And I spend a lot of time, because I'm retired, doing this. And I'm still confused as to what they're really doing with this 24% rate increase. So to me, this is not adequately justified at all. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, and sorry I'm worked up about this, but that's the best way I can communicate this to you, because this matters. People's lives matter, and we are running out of time. We need to move off of fossil fuels and into renewable energy pronto, within just probably 5 years or less, not 10. We don't have 10 anymore. And the time to do it is now, because the complexion of our political system in New York State could very easily change in a few years. So the decisions need to be made now, and they need to be put in paper to back up the law. Thank you.
Thank you. Kathleen ODonnell, and the next speaker will be Jan Mulroy.
Hello, I'm Dr. Kathleen ODonnell. I live in Oneonta, New York. The New York State Public Service Commission's purpose is to, quote, ensure affordable, safe, secure, reliable utility access to consumers while protecting the natural environment, unquote. Given your mission, expansion of the De Reader pipeline is financial folly and environmental disaster. From a consumer point of view, it is throwing good money after bad. I urge you to use your power as government stewards of our natural resources and managers of hard-earned taxpayer, ratepayer money to realize the directives of the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act recently signed by Governor Cuomo. This legislation requires utilities to get 70% of the state's electricity from renewable energy by 2030 and sets a goal of an 85% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. Your mandate and the law make your decision clear. Save our money and the environment. Improve grid infrastructure, invest in renewable energies, and help consumers and communities improve energy conservation and transition to a renewable energy future. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Jan Mulroy, and then I'm sorry if I pronounce this incorrectly, Epifanio Bevilaqua is next.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to share my comments. The Clean Power Plan was enacted to combat global warming. Gas was meant to be a bridge fuel, a short-term solution as we position ourselves for a sustainable energy future. Our future has arrived, and we find ourselves not on a bridge, but on a gangplank. If you allow NYSEG to raise rates, effectively approving NYSEG's business model, it will have implications for our health and our environment for at least the next 5 years. As you continue with this rate case audit, what you won't find are cost figures for greenhouse gases upstream from point of production to pilot light. From wellhead to pilot light, fugitive methane is recognized in New York State as evidenced in the methane reduction plan. Methane is a superpollutant responsible for global climate forcing and contributes to the formation of tropospheric ozone. We now know, thanks to the research from Dr. Howarth at Cornell and Dr. Schindel at Duke, that methane leakage from gas production and transmission makes it the dirtiest of all fossil fuels, and that its global warming potential is over 100 times that of CO2. In a study this year, the Ozone Transport Commission writes, in part, we estimated that approximately 600 to 2,400 persons would have not died prematurely in a given year, 2011 to 2017, had the ozone transport region air quality attained a level that met the 70 parts per billion ozone national ambient air quality standards, with even more persons that would not have died if ozone levels were even lower. Additionally, we estimated that there would have been economic benefit to the region in the range of $5 to $19 billion in all health impacts from reducing ozone to 70 parts per million in any given year, end quote. Currently, there are 10 counties in New York State that have not attained the national ambient air quality standards. We cannot continue with business as usual. PSC cannot allow NYSEG to expand gas infrastructure. PSC has a new tool, the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, a mandate for PSC to tell NYSEG to create a business plan that reflects the environmental goals of our state. Tell NYSEG to provide for an upgraded electric grid supporting renewable energy assets. Tell NYSEG that this is the way we must do business in New York. PSC, you are the gatekeeper, the regulator, the people's advocate. The buck stops here. People's lives are in your hands. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bevilaqua, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that. Okay. And after you will be William, looks like William Huston, or Houston.
Epifanio Bevilaqua from Franklin, New York. I was a local 79 shop steward in Manhattan on high-rise buildings. I also saw the second plane go into the Trade Center, and they said it was safe, right? Thank God they passed the law just now to take care of those people. We don't get on board with what we have to do here, we won't be the best nation in the United States. We need to change the ways the monopolies do business. We need to hold them accountable. We need to subpoena their books, and it can be done. We also get a lot of grants from the governor in Binghamton, Oneonta, Broome County. Why don't we invest it in renewables? We also heard testimony, and I've been around with these people, and I've seen this is a very true fact. I've been all over New York State, Albany, up and down, and I come from downstate. And like he said today, one of the guys, downstream. Come on. Wait until the gas hits Japan, what your rates are going to be here in the United States. And I've been told by people, and I listen. So it's very important to listen to what's going on. And what these people have told you, I've been side by side with them, all over the place, advocating with them, with all the pipeline, Constitution, the NED, all of those. And Seward, Senator, where is he tonight? Where's Chuck Schumer? Where's the governor? He's not listening. They want our votes, but they're not here to listen to the public. It has to change. And if it doesn't change, we're not going anywhere. And these monopolies have to be stopped. All of them. The natural gas, the big companies, Williams, all of them. They need to be stopped. Your children, our grandchildren, they're the ones that are going to suffer in the long run. So if we don't stop it, our families will pay the price. And like they say, we'll pay the piper. So, and that's all I have to say. But Thank you.
Thank you.